Hey guys, and welcome to the latest in the SleepyTalk podcast. Today I'm joined with a familiar face, which is Carl.
Hi.
And a new face who's been helping me out with a few things on YouTube and certain stuff. It's my old friend, Ash.
Yo.
Old? Are you not friends anymore or something?
No.
Retired.
Retired friends.
Retired friends, yeah. We've gone into retirement together. Ash has been following us for a bit now, and he's got some things that he would like to talk to us about.
I won't say following, but yeah, no. I spoke to Collis a few weeks ago because I noticed he started doing all this spooky stuff well before I thought he continued to do YouTube. And I recently watched he was laughing at me when I spoke to him about it, but Most Haunted documentary series on
Mary Lovestick.
This 30 or 32 30 East Drive in Pontefract. I think the idea came from it actually. There was an Instagram I went there, so shout out to this dude. I like all my horror sort of merch and like action figures and stuff. And I follow him. He's got like a huge horror room, and he posted a photo. He does these like abstract photos, and he posted a photo of the DVD outside this house in Pontefract. And I mentioned it to you, and then I watched the documentary. So that's kind of where we are today, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put in there that Mary Loves Dick is going as soon as you say Most Haunted documentary.
I mean, as a kid, Most Haunted scared the crap out of me, but now I think it's just more a bit weird. The whole presenting style I think is a bit cringy, but they're just out to it's out to make banging TV. It's out to make viral TV. That's all it.
Yeah, it is. Have you ever seen the Mary Loves Dick episode, Ash?
No.
Have you not?
No.
Oh my god, that's something for after this.
Definitely.
You need to see that because it's the greatest thing that's ever happened on Most Haunted.
Honestly, it's a national treasure. It's the eighth wonder of the world.
I don't think I've been on this podcast and not mentioned Mary Loves Dick.
He's been on 2 podcasts. But yeah, it's incredible. And to be fair, you are right. Back in the day, Most Haunted was the most exciting thing to come out of the TV.
Yeah, it's on Sky. Fucking that was like the only thing that I used to watch on Sky. The only thing I can remember thinking this is quite scary.
Oh, is it Yvette Fielding, Derek Acora, God rest his soul?
God rest. I used to love Most Haunted when I was a kid.
Yeah, everybody did.
I didn't have Sky though, so we had to wait like 6 months for it to come on channels.
You like catch up?
Yeah, mate. Catch up back in day, but it was like 10 months later.
Waiting for dial up to connect.
Yeah. Dial up?
He was sat in 2010 watching 2002 episodes.
2010, bro.
That's right, we're 2002 to 2010.
Oh, right. Well, I'm talking more like 2002.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm old, and you two are just whippersnappers still.
I was 10, 11 when it came out.
I'll be a year younger than you, so probably what?
Yeah, like 9 or 10. So, we're not...
God.
We're still like the double figures, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come back to me when you triple figures, mate. But
what, like 100?
Yeah. Then you can call me young.
How old are you?
28.
28, okay.
I'm 27.
Yeah, young. Sorry.
All right. Blimey hell, mate.
On tangent.
Yeah, just like that's ageist, you know. There's actually a crime now to be ageist towards people.
Well, they'll be get over it.
Yeah, probably.
So you sent me this thing earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
This where you can book it. What is it? It's in Pontefract, isn't it?
So
Yeah,
I guess
East Drive, Pontefract.
I guess if I explain kind of what it is, because it makes no sense. It's out of context.
Yeah, I'll let you explain it, Ash.
So essentially, it's meant to be the most haunted house in the UK. Like the phenomena that have gone off in there are meant to be like more crazy than anything that's been experienced in the UK anyway. And I saw this again. The Instagram post quotes, "I'm outside 30 East Drive in Pontefract, West Yorkshire, UK," which is probably an hour drive from us, I imagine. Northern England's answer to Amityville horror. Many documentaries happened here, and many documentaries has happened of the house. It's a ghostly black monk legend, and the film Holding When the Lights Went Out, which is a film based on the actual place. in the 70s. It's a pretty decent watch, although they didn't use the actual location for any of the filming. So that's originally what I sent Luke probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and it's just your generic sort of council house in the middle of like a West Yorkshire town. So it's nothing. It's no big like castle, big drive or anything like that. I have read somewhere that the grounds that the estate or the house is like laid upon may be the cause of seeing this black monk and this sort of interesting character or hauntings that go on. But as far as that goes, then I've only seen the Most Haunted documentary, like we say, and then it's whatever we've seen online, which is the website, which sort of Karl mentioned there.
Okay, did you know they also got a remake from the 1974 film?
What when the lights went out?
Yeah, it's also got a 2012 remake.
Because the original one is the 2012 one I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, with Pat Holden. I've not seen. I don't know if there was original then. I saw Pat Holden as a director. He did a film called Away Days, which is an incredible like 70s, 80s film about like casual culture and sort of like football. So that's the only reason I know him. And then the film. So I've not seen the old one.
We're too young for those 1970s things, Karl. We're too young for them. We're just whippersnappers.
Ageist.
Yeah.
But that on that website, on that booking website, the person that's wrote the description of the house, I get a feeling he's just watched Ghostbusters. And literally, like, where were it? There were a part where he's on about green goop coming out of the toilet and the taps in the kitchen, even though the water was turned off. I'm pretty sure that's in Ghostbusters.
I mean, I've definitely seen it in Ghost.
Yeah, so yeah, but in that they find the gatekeeper, don't they, and the keymaster.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say earlier on when I watched a couple of videos on this, on one of the videos, the next recommended video was a film to do with Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Like, YouTube algorithm don't work in like mysterious ways. It's pretty straightforward, you know.
Yeah. But reading about this though, if it's like, it sounds mad, some of the stuff that are meant to have happened.
All jokes aside, if Most Haunted probably wouldn't have done an episode on it and made it a kind of like the meme culture that Most Haunted is, then I think that I'd look upon it, and especially Luke and your sort of crowd, and think like, holy crap, this is quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think Most Haunted kind of make a mockery out of most things and sort of put a bad light on it, I guess. So I know we laugh and joke about it, but some of the happenings are unexplained. Like,
yeah. To be fair, so I was watching one video earlier on, and it genuinely, like, some of the things that I was skipping through were a bit, what's the word? Fake, shall we say? Like, you could tell that people were just making out that they'd aired stuff in background and things like that. But then there were one video that I watched, and it were pretty messed up, to be fair. Like, some bunks bumped into him, you could hear screaming upstairs. Again though, videos are all just like, you can edit all that stuff in, do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
So
there were one that I watched, and honestly they must have had 200 cameras and not one of them picked up the things that they were saying were happening. Like, imagine having that many cameras and everything that's like haunting is off camera.
And that's the thing that makes you just a bit wary about stuff when it's on camera, because you get 200 cameras, picks up nothing, but then one guy with one camera picks up everything.
It's always the potato camera.
Always the potato camera. Yeah.
So I mean, the TripAdvisor reviews are sort of hit and miss as far as you go with TripAdvisor as being a credible website. Some come along like as an incredible experience in such an intriguing place, and then there's other people who quote it, such as saying, we stayed at 30 East Drive in 2019, very disappointed, nothing happened, didn't live up to the hype. And then the contrast to that is then seeing, for example, the Most Haunted episode, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but two of the camera guys get burn marks on the wrist, like somebody's been dragging them with rope, and they're identical places on his wrist, and they bruise up and they blister. It looks like somebody's burnt them with either a whip or a chain or something along that, like, hot. So you're getting two ends of the spectrum. Some people are saying nothing's happened, and then other people are saying, look, I've stayed here and it was incredible, or things were flying around the room, Fred trashed the bedroom, or so. Yeah, I think it's maybe I don't know. It's one of them things. I guess some people might be more perceptive to it than others. I don't know.
From what I'm getting the feel of as well, though, Fred, which is the poltergeist we had, guys, is it's the more you anger Fred, the more he'll do. So
Yeah.
So I feel like the people that may be going in and, nothing's happening to him, are they the ones that are just literally going in and don't do anything? They're just sat there, if that makes sense.
Maybe
Fred's like really like peed off about the fact that it's 400 quid to like go in there. And he's like, I'm angry about this because like you're making profit off of my my ghosting.
There you go. So if the new owners are listening, if the new owners who own the property, because it has been recently sold, I think sold in like 2012 or something, if you want to throw a YouTube channel in there, who's going to get some limelight and tell you the true story, what's happening. I mean, Spooky's here to do it, so
yeah.
We can't say that it'll help your sales though, because if we find nothing, it's going to be
it might be more credible than Most Haunted, to be honest, mate. Let's be fair.
Yeah, look, I'm going to say Most Haunted have never actually. Has there ever been an episode where nothing's happened, even the live ones?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
I mean, I suppose it's like when you shoot a YouTube video and you go and nothing happens. You're like, well, I'm not posting that one. You know what I mean?
My channel's going to be dead in a week.
What a bit point. You know what I mean? So yeah. I imagine that there were many things that they recorded that just never saw light of day because it was dead.
So there's a snippet that me and my other half picked out when we were watching the documentary. Is that they're in a living room. And they've got what looks like a DJ setup, big speakers. No, it could be obviously like some, technical equipment. But it looks like they've been there a while, possibly at least a couple of days, because they've got they've got water bottles. They've got enough snacks and food to last them at least over 12 hours that they said they were staying there for. But I'm just reading like visitor comments from the website, which I mean Luke probably can link below.
Yeah.
And the first 3 ones are from Most Haunted, so it makes me think that maybe the people that own the property think that it's probably the most credible thing to say, that Most Haunted have been there.
It probably is, to be perfectly honest with you, because it's the biggest one out there. Do you know what I mean? Most Haunted were massive back in the day. Everyone loved it. But saying that this ghost hunting things, I've noticed on Facebook and what have you, it's all become a massive thing at the moment. I know a lot of people doing it.
Since talking to Luke, I've noticed a lot more people that I've sent to him as well, just random YouTubers that I found that are sort of popping off. Even like Facebook, like sort of little viral clips or whatever. So it is becoming more accepting, I guess, in the UK.
I think it's just a trend at the minute.
I think it's
because no one can go out.
Yeah, you can't go out drinking or anything like that. So you're trying to get a rush elsewhere, and I suppose ghost hunting is a rush in itself. Because if you think you heard something, do you know what I mean? You're going to get that little adrenaline kick and what have you. So
the actual
we've got about 2 weeks before we can go out and actually do this. So I'm down straight away.
The episode for 30 East Drive actually aired 18th October 2015. And I think they did a part 2, probably happens, I imagine it weekly, so probably 2 weeks after it came out. So yeah, still a fairly, I mean, if they finished, like you said, if they finished in 2010, I imagine this might have been a special or something. Yeah. Again, I'm just reading this from, Wiki, so it could be 2010, could be not credible. But...
Can we just touch on the name? Who named this poltergeist? Because Fred's not a very good name, really, let's be honest.
Well, what I'm going to do is now I'll go through the history. So I've got a nice excerpt here that I'll go through, read to everyone, because we've talked about something with like no context.
Yeah.
So, it's a backwards story, this guy, so we'll end on the actual thing that we're going to talk about. So, Jean, Joe, Philip, and Diane Pritchard moved into number 30 East Drive, Pontefract, in August 1966. Almost immediately, during the hot summer bank holiday, Philip and his grandmother first witnessed a baffling phenomenon. A fine layer of chalk-like dust falling not from the ceiling, but from a level below head height. Ooh. In an effort to clean up before Philip's holidaying parents returned, Mrs. Kelly, who was Philip's auntie, went to the kitchen for some cleaning implements. Whereupon she slipped on a pool of water that had mysteriously appeared. Her efforts to mop up the water were thwarted by more pools appearing on the linoleum in front of her and Philip's very eyes. Who remembers linoleum?
I don't remember linoleum. I don't even know what you're on about. Linoleum. I've never said that word in my whole entire life.
It's what they used to put in kitchens. It's like a layer of like plastic sort of material.
Oh, the plastic flooring.
Yeah, linoleum.
Yeah, I just thought it were fake. The ones that look like fake tiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Pretty much.
The ones that we had in our house because we were poor.
Yeah, if you put like some bleach down on it and mop it up, like you are slipping.
Yeah,
as soon as you go in there.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But this was the beginning of several years of incredible, inexplicable events. Just the linoleum. With green foam appearing from taps and toilets, even after the water was turned off. The tea dispenser being activated, resulting in all the dried tea cascading onto the work surface. A tea dispenser.
A tea... What? A kettle?
No, I think it's like tea leaves.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like, yeah. Anyway, lights being turned off and on, plants leaping out of their pots. Whew.
Crazy stuff.
That's some miracle growing there, mate, if they're jumping out the pots.
Sell off some good money.
Yeah. Like, cupboards shaking violently, photographs being slashed with a sharp knife, and an endless list of levitating and thrown objects, including a solid oak sideboard. So, the poltergeist was dubbed Mr. Nobody by the local press in 1968, but the family preferred to refer to the poltergeist simply as Fred.
Where did Fred come from?
Well, it was perhaps as a way of normalising it, as no number of initiatives could persuade the entity to leave the family in peace, and house-proud Mother Jean refused to be terrorised out of her house by an entity.
So on the
they
episode,
do not negotiate with terrorists.
On the episode that I saw, there was an next door neighbour who's been lived there for a while, and she apparently has known the family and said that was it Jean that she immediately refused. I think it got to a point where obviously she did move out, and obviously that story will come, but it sounds to the point like if someone's like, this is my house, I'm not moving out regardless of what's happening either way. So
I'd be gone, bro.
I would. Yeah. First night I'd be gone.
It's like, have you off topic? Have you ever seen Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
The first one.
Like,
why are they staying?
Why are they recording it?
After that first night, I'm gone. Man's out of there. No messing about. I'm not messing with no poltergeist whatsoever.
That bit where it drags her off at bed.
Yeah, definitely gone.
Like, I wouldn't have saved her. I wouldn't have saved her. I'd have been out, seeing a bit.
So that's a nice segue.
This shit I'm out.
That's a nice segue to what I've actually put. So if you actually click on it, I've sent it to you both, or I've put it in the SleepyTalk chat. So feel free to pull it up. So there's a video here by a YouTuber called Andrew Duffy, which is where my main interest lies with these podcasts, is like the things that happen around him. Anyway, closing in at about 19 minutes 32, this gentleman's walking down the stairs, and it doesn't, again, give it any more credibility because it just looks so faked and unreal, this whole YouTube clout thing to try and fake views or whatever. And he slips on the stairs, and apparently it's dubbed that the poltergeist drags him round the corner.
Where have you put this video? Sorry,
I've put it in
Discord.
Yeah, I can link it.
Which one?
There you go.
Sleepy.
Yeah, it's not. I've got no coming up.
I've linked you.
Yes.
So if you click on the video and watch the video, you'll see what I mean. It looks like there is a little bit in the video where you can see him jump, and I think it definitely is look like it's faked. I can't explain how he gets dragged around the corner though, unless it's.
What are we skipping to?
19 minutes.
About 19 minutes. So that's what sort of intrigues me about East Drive, is that there is some extraordinary things that happen, and there's some minute things. The most haunted episode where there's the knife set in the sofa. Like, where have you ever heard that before? Things getting slashed, people's arms getting sort of like, I dare say, mutilated or burnt. Things being thrown at each other. I think you get the normal things that happen, like a chair move or tapping or banging or anything like that. But where it's physically attacking somebody, that's where the hair on my arm starts to stand up. Like, that gets a little bit creepy. That's sort of getting on the borderline for me there.
Yeah.
You can see on the mirror on that video that he crawls around the corner. He crawls.
I've not even seen that bit, so let me have a look.
Look at the mirror.
I don't know. Hang on. Because his leg
Yeah, okay. You are right.
You can see him crawling mirror.
But he gets dragged though. Look before that. So if you slow it down to like 1936, I don't know if it's his movement, but it looks like he does get he gets like thrown. I can't really explain that bit.
It looks like he has like a hop, skip, and a jump. But I'll leave a link in the description anyway, so people can have a look.
Genuinely, his leg like bends around the corner though when he hits the floor bottom.
That's what's weird about that bit.
Yeah, I mean it is weird, but I reckon we could recreate that maybe. If I can't, then yeah, I'll get it to him. But it does on the actual mirror. You can see him crawl around the corner.
Check my Instagram later, guys. I'll be doing a reenactment.
So now, Carl, just sort of explain what it is, and we've got a brief history of what actually happened. Has anybody got any noticeable recent happenings that you'd like to pick up on? Because I've got two in my head that I know I'd like to talk to both of you about. I know you both from them. So the first one would be obviously the most haunted thing that I've seen, which would have been the most shocking thing in the video. They're panning around a room, and they pan back, and they go to sit on the sofa, and miraculously, a meat cleaver or a dagger, the same dagger that Scream uses, appears in between the sofa as if someone's about to sit down on it. Now that, to me, screams so much foo-foo and so much fakeness, It's unreal. Because I don't know how a butcher knife has managed to get out of the drawer, which nobody lives in this house, may I add, so there shouldn't be any cutlery in there anyway, I imagine, unless it's sort of pre-70s, and is now wedged in between the sofa where these two presenters are going to sit down, and it just so happens to be the sofa that they're sitting on. So that screams uber fakeness to me. And the second one would be, which is not only the most haunted episode, I've seen this on quite a lot of recent happenings, whether it be TripAdvisor reviews or the website, is these marbles. So it's like somebody's sort of throwing marbles out of walls. People are getting hit in the face with these marbles, or quite quickly as well, or like jumping downstairs. It sounds funny, but it's one of those things that I can't in my head I can't explain it, and I'm like, why are these marbles getting thrown around?
I'm gonna get
my marbles.
I'm gonna get my marbles on a Cora's head. Sorry.
No, that's the only one I can't explain.
Oh, that one made me laugh. That one.
Marbles.
Carl's lost his marbles.
Oh God. Ooh, sir. Go on, carry on.
That's it. That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, the butcher knife one sounds so like sus whatsoever. It's like the camera's going to pan around and Ghostface's self is going to be behind curtains like he is in Scary Movie. You know, and he's just, yoo-hoo, what's that?
Did some blowout?
Do you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
Whoever producer is or director, if they thought, right, let's put a butcher knife in the middle of the seat, they need sacking for starters, because that is just stupid.
Yeah, but that was good TV back then.
No, yeah, it were good TV. It were good TV back then, but still a bit.
Oh
bit
my god, there's a knife in there, and then Scary Movie comes out, and it's like, oh my god, they've taken it from Most Haunted. You know what I mean?
So I wish prior to this that I would have linked you both episodes so you could have watched it, and it would have made so much more sense.
I've just posted a video in the Zencaster chat. This is what I watched earlier on, and if you skip to around
I've seen
17 minutes, 10 seconds, around there, you'll it's like they're getting him to change the radio station, and you hear it say, "You're first, Dave."
Yeah.
And the guy's called Dave, and then they hear something like move mad quick behind him, and and it's not so much what happens, it's their reaction that makes me think it was real. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they're maxing out.
You're giving me some great stuff to edit here, boys.
Sorry. But it's their reaction, if that makes sense. It's like sometimes you can tell from a reaction whether it's fake or whether it's real.
Yeah, I watched it and instantly I've got goosebumps.
Yeah, this guy all the way through the video is doing stuff, he's hearing stuff, and he's not that fazed by it.
Yeah,
like, and then it's just this one bit that, like, you can actually see the fear in his eyes. So
yeah,
that's why these guys intrigued me. Which DNA TV, I think they're called.
DNA TV,
yeah.
So where do you stand on that, Luke? Though, because obviously I know Carl from sort of gaming background, but where do you stand on? Because that to me sounds like a spirit is saying, "Look, don't f with me." Now, where do you stand on that? Do you stand on the point where you're saying, right, okay, it's fine to explore these places, or do you stand on the point of saying, right, some of these people are sort of offending people? Like in my eyes, like I think it's absolutely fine as long as you're not offending somebody, you're not treading on someone's past, you're not offending the spirit in any way. You're just there to document it to show other people that it's around. Like, 'cause I do think that that sort of stuff is real. I just think some shows and some people do fabricate it a little bit.
I think for me, I'm on the fence about it, so I don't actually know whether I believe it or not.
Right.
Which is like Ryan said in the other podcast that it was weird that I'm like that purely for the fact that some stuff has happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not. I don't know where I'd stand on that. To be fair, I would probably try and antagonize them.
See, that's what I do. This is what I was saying earlier on. I feel like, especially at this place, what I was saying earlier on, the people that seem to antagonize more are getting more reactions.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I don't know whether you can offend a ghost.
Yeah, so but it seems to me that for better results is you've got to have balls of steel kind of thing. Like,
is that how it is though? Is that how you should antagonize these said phenomenons? Is that what you have to do, or is that just for this one place?
I don't think they're all sort of the same. I don't think you have to antagonize them all the same if they are real, because that'd just be like tarnishing them with the same brush, wouldn't it? But I think in this particular sort of instance, it seems like if you antagonize it, then you will experience something. So it'd be good to test. I mean, I wouldn't like to pay 400 quid and
twice.
and have a recipe for how to get it to attack me or whatever. Or be like, oh no, it's all right, we're all friends here, and have nothing happen, and then I'm 400 quid down.
Yeah, you see, if I'm paying 400 quid, I'm going in and I'm like, Fred, you're a mong. Let's have it. Do you know what I mean?
Fred
I'm
the
doing.
nonce.
Yeah, Fred, you're a nonce. Come on, what you doing? I'm going all out because I want to experience it. Do you know what I mean? That's my point on it.
Well, speaking of nonce, we'll move on to the bit that sort of I was interested in when I was reading about Fred and all his little things that he did. So, ordinarily, poltergeists aren't known for causing grievous bodily harm, and although Fred caused a few bruises and scrapes and a lot of heart-stopping scares, in particular to Diane, it is rare for a poltergeist to become excessively violent and cause physical harm. But in the case of Fred, that did become the case. So late on in his residency, when both Philip and Diane were beginning to exit adolescence, the activity reached a new climactic height, with Diane's long hair suddenly standing on its end, followed by her being dragged, kicking and screaming up the stairs. An event that left her seriously traumatized and clearly visible finger marks on her throat. So I did watch a quick sort of video on this, and it dragged her into a room and started choking her.
No,
that's what I think that's demonstrated in the film when the lights went out. I think that there is a scene that, although I've not seen it, I have seen sort of trailers and screenshots. There is a scene like that is, sort of depicts that description that happened.
No, I'm not
so that's
down with it.
That's where it gets a bit. That's the same clip as what I linked earlier. Very similar, apart from he sort of falls down. That's where, to me, I'm a little bit on the fence with that sort of phenomenon. That gets a little bit. It starts to tick the wrong boxes in my eyes, where you're being physically harmed by something. Whether it's following you back to your residency, or it's grievous bodily harm like you experience, like that person experience.
Don't poltergeists tend to just stay in their own thing though? They don't really.
Who knows? I mean, generally speaking, poltergeists are meant to be sort of landlocked. Not landlocked. They've got a geolocation on them. They're on tag.
On tag.
On tag.
Yeah, can't go outside their house after 10 p.m. and before 6.
So as long as you bring them a bottle of cider, they're all right.
Yeah.
Frosty Jacks.
I was just about to say
Jacks. White Lightning.
Yeah.
I want to touch on
Starburst
Starburst and what I want to say something like I noticed you said something earlier on. You know when you were reading description of film, Ash.
Yeah.
And you said it was something to do with England's version of the Amityville Horror.
Yeah. So Chris, who owns the Instagram page Orange Grove 74, is like a horror collector. Because I've got loads of sort of old film posters and VHS, Blu-ray, and like old like horror characters and figurines. He was one of the first person that posted this image, and he does them very often where he'll take the Blu-ray or the film, he'll go to the specific location, i.e. he's done like all the Friday the 13th locations over in America. I think he's done a lot of Star Wars. He takes the film, he goes to the actual location, he takes a photo with the film outside. So again, if I can get Luke to throw a photo on, it will do. But
literally, I was just thinking, it's not that edited. He just add image. Stop being lazy. Literally, I was just thinking, like, I love how America's version is a giant mansion, and UK is a 2-bedroom house in Pontefract.
But this is another thing that I was going to touch up on though, because the Enfield horrors.
Yeah,
another council house.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's. UK is. I think people in America think that we live in woods all the time and we've got giant mansions everywhere, but it's not like that at all. Do you get what I mean though? Like every time you see like an English horror film portrayed normally, or a TV show recently like Bly Manor and things like that, they're all giant mansions and. But in reality, we all live in 2-bedroom council houses, so that makes it more realistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So the Enfield was a couple of years after this, and we did speak about it in another podcast. They made a really good film on that. It wasn't Insidious; it was Sinister 2. But that was another one where it was just a 2-3-bedroom council house down in Enfield, and it's like, at what point? Because obviously council houses were built in like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
So at what point would a ghost or poltergeist be attached to that location? Is it an old burial site? Is it native land? Is it? Because the infamous guy on this thread is meant to be a monk, isn't he?
Yeah, the Fred.
So how many how many centuries ago was Fred? There? Did he get buried there? Did he have his own tribe there?
I wish that whoever sort of first recognised the East Drive as like a hotspot for these sort of poltergeists had gone into a bit more of its history to make it. In me, it makes it well more believable than what it would be by just seeing this. I found a little bit that says here something like the history. I'm going to butcher it, but I think it's a Client monk of Pontefract. Monk of Pontefract. And those guys are sort of like, I imagine, as old priests. From from 1090. So they were founded in 1090 in Pontefract. So they were an actual. I'm going to call them a clan. The only thing I can refer it to. They're a clan of people essentially. That had
World
burials.
of Warcraft, yeah.
World of Warcraft. That had burials.
Ogar for the Horde.
Well, Pontefract Priory, that's what it's called. So
yeah,
it's linked, rumored to be linked somehow to the Pontefract Priory. Whether that's Fred or not, I don't know.
The one thing I never understand about ghosts is this is one of the biggest reasons that I don't know whether I believe in them or not. You never get a ghost that's out of Victorian era.
You mean one of the most brutal eras?
Like no, but like, do you get what I mean? Like, you never see a caveman ghost.
Well, I mean, that's not Victorian, but yeah, fair play.
That's not Victorian, but yeah.
No, but I meant every ghost is like Victorian onwards. If that makes sense.
Right, okay, yeah. I get it.
But you never see like Fred Flintstone rocking about with a club in his hand.
Well, we don't live in caves anymore.
No,
There's
but
houses built near caves.
But what I'm saying is, ghosts. If ghosts are there forever, then surely cavemen. We just didn't have nothing in England. Do you know what I mean? There were still clearly cavemen around here.
In my eyes,
but we're the cavemen in England.
Or, well, I would imagine so.
But in my eyes, the whole idea of hauntings is that the being or whatever it is that's been haunted by has not gone through to it's not travelled to the next destination. It's still stuck in its final form essentially. So back in those days, they really got nothing to worry about. They probably not like the only thing I worry about. I imagine is like I don't know, a dinosaur or something eating a bigger predator. Whereas like in Victorian times, you probably got people stabbing, murderers. It's sort of like brutal acts of humanity. Whereas like these people who are that age have not really have.
You're telling me if a T-Rex come round corner and you went, if you eat me, I'm going to haunt you for the rest of my life.
That's tail and run, wasn't it?
That's what I'd say.
Yeah. No, well, to be fair, like people and T-Rexes, just to point it out there, never existed at the same time. But I don't, just as some people will believe it, mate.
History.
Karl's history lessons, 2020.
But I don't know whether England or Anglo or wherever you want to call it was settled into at a time where cave people were a thing. I don't know. I get what you're saying, though.
But yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it's always Victorian onwards. It's always like, oh, it was an old lady in a Victorian dress. Do you know what I mean? It's never...
Maybe the clothing in Victorian times was just easily seeable for, like, spirits and stuff.
Maybe.
Like, because maybe before then, they didn't have much on. Like,
maybe.
Yeah.
I want to see a horror film about cavemen.
Well, I know they were a lot in Africa, weren't they? And then you've got like your tribes in South America and stuff like that. They've got cave paintings and things. So maybe
there's still some visible in like the UK. I think like cave paintings and stuff.
So well, maybe we just take a trip to like the Mayan temples and just chill out there for a night and see if there's any like T-Rexes that come round that have been haunted.
I've took us on a mad tangent there. I apologise, but it was something that I had to get off my chest.
But you don't see like ghosts of dinosaurs, though, do you?
No, but apparently there's dog ghosts, there's cat ghosts. Do you know? Like you see stuff like that, but you don't see a T-Rex ghost, do you?
No, cat ghost.
I mean, now you say that, I'm just looking at anything that's haunting in the Peak District. A simple Google that's brought up visitthepeakdistrict.com. Obviously, you've got your most known ones: Lady Bower, Bolsover Castle, Wirksworth. There's Kinder Scout, Edale, but they only date back to 17th century. Like nothing dates past back that. Even like, I mean, there's one here that's 17th century, 18th century, sort of 500-year-olds, but there is nothing that's probably going to be that. I dare say prehistoric age. It's probably ruined it there, but back to that age. So I do get where you're coming from. I'd expect the most haunted place to be around us where we would see something like that. Now, caves is the Peak District in our area. But yeah, nothing seems to come up with a quick Google. It's just, there's a little one here, Roman soldiers. I think that's probably the earliest.
Was that like 10th century?
No idea. But it's Bleaklow in Peak District, Roman ghost apparently. So, I mean, it's still one of those things. It is not explained, but there is somebody out there who probably could explain it a little bit further, I guess. But you got me thinking about that, Karl. Why?
Maybe ghosts have got a shelf life. Maybe they have like a certain period that they're allowed to be alive.
Yeah, like I said before, they pass through to the next sort of thing wherever they go.
Yeah.
It still doesn't explain why Fred's still here, maybe 40 years later, but still.
Yeah. Maybe. No, but like I said, if it's Victorian times, like at the minute, then you're talking like 19th century, aren't you? But yeah.
I've just Googled why are there no ghosts outside of the Victorian era, and it seems to be a commonly asked question.
So maybe they've got 200 years or 2 centuries.
Shelf life, expiry date, best before.
Best before.
Till the end of clearance aisle, and that's it.
Used before like 21st century, and then they just pop out of existence. So maybe in another century they'll be like, why is there only like miners being ghosts and stuff, and there's never any Victorian ghosts?
Yeah.
Well, which might make a cool bit of content for some time. There's one here, Winter's Pass. I know we're going on a bit of a tangent away from 30 East Drive, but I guess it's a full podcast now about ghosts. But there's apparently there's 2 ghosts, 2 lovers killed in 1758 that apparently are there to roam Winter's Pass. You know Castleton? I think we probably all drove through Castleton at some point. But the miners didn't get away with their crime. Apparently, there were 2 lovers who were killed by these miners, and one fell from a cliff near the sea, and the other one was murdered by a falling stone. So maybe that's a bit of content, and it might itch Carl's scratch to try and see a T-Rex ghost at some point.
Yeah.
I want to see a T-Rex ghost.
Should we have a look at Pangaea? Because there's a website that tells you like where like dinosaurs roamed during Pangaea, and then we'll yeah. So you know the supercontinent.
No,
which
no idea.
So back in like millions of years ago, the landmass wasn't split up like it is now. It was all part of one big piece of land, and then tectonic plates and like earthquakes and stuff like split it off and blah blah blah. But you can see like where the UK would have been in Pangaea back in the day. So we'll see where like most of T-Rexes like travelled, and then we'll take Carl to like where it should be now and see if we can do a seance.
Just sit him in car for a couple of hours, see if he sees anything.
Yeah, see if car topples over.
Yes.
And
see if my water starts going dumb.
So, some bloke runs up to the window and just goes, "Clever girl,
clever girl,
clever girl."
I've got a quick review here from a lady. I find it quite funny, but a lady named Shelley, I think her name is here. Shelby, one of the two. Anyway, the reason to provide it, it's the scariest house in the UK. Been doing lots of ghost paranormal nights, and this is one that we wanted to do the most. So we arrived at 9:45 with our first impression of the 1970s house. It's still in that era, apart from the front of the house, which I think it's the door, because I've questioned that myself. I've seen a photo of the door, and it definitely doesn't look 70s. The night was organised by Haunted Happenings, which seems to be quite a common website when you Google 30 East Drive. I've seen that also. They are sold out, so it seems quite popular. Altogether, they had a brief introduction in the living room. There were a few do's and don'ts. Obviously, like don't take anything, don't mess around the house, don't disrespect it, whatnot. And the night was split into 10 till 2, so it only seems they can go from, I imagine, 10 o'clock at night till 2. Seems a bit weird. I thought you got all day in there. Anyway,
400 quid.
Yeah, no, 400 quid for a couple of hours seems a bit
100
steep.
quid an hour.
400 quid. I want 2 months. I want a full month.
Yes, it's a good rent. That we stayed till around 7 a.m. though. To be fair, nothing really happened. They did hear the table tapping a few times. Also had a goodbye. This review's written terrible. It says also had a goodbye male, female, boy, girl happening, which didn't really make that doesn't make sense.
Just sounds like a really bad orgy.
Goodbye male, female, boy, girl. That's what it says.
Yeah.
That's literally the literacy on this thing. We did end up taking, which I assume is meant to be talking, to the infamous Black Monk Fred/Michael. So no idea who Michael is now. Have I missed that part? But
Fred Michael,
right. That killed little girls. That was interesting. So it seems Shelley's not very good at English, but we'll let her off because she stayed there and we answered. So she's got bigger balls than me. They apparently watched the film when the lights went out, and then drifted off to sleep on the couch and had the best night's sleep she's had in a while. So I mean, if you got bad back problems, you can't sleep, bit of insomnia, go to 30 East Drive.
Cool story, bro. Needs more dinosaurs.
It does. Until my son decided to wake up because he couldn't sleep and creep through the living room door. That bit scared me. Great night's sleep. Had a great experience. 7 out of 5. Loved it. So
everyone's had a very good night's sleep here.
I mean, cheers, Shelley, for the thankful bit of content and great review.
Right. So, on that note, thank you for listening to the latest in the SleepyTalk podcast. Hopefully, Carl and Ash will join again. Maybe we do like a big topic next time rather than like one place, and then we'll go off on tangents. Yeah, ghost.
I could have gone on that for hours, mate.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, maybe we do that for the next one. So yeah, thanks for listening, and take care.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.